something else, Miss,
You've got 2 minutes.
Mrs.
until the
DiGiacomo?
I'll save it. I've got more stuff. I'll save it. We got 2 minutes. I got my 2-minute bell warning.
Okay. Okay, well, we'll just wait for the meeting to begin. Catherine, you got 2 minutes. If we start the meeting, then you have to stay. You have to. No. You have to, once we start, you got to commit to the whole meeting. All right.
But like you said, it's not tied to compensation.
What's the deal with golf carts? Like, why do people want a golf cart in the city?
Going out to drink for dinner. Well, because it's turning into a recreational area, probably.
And that would make sense to have it in the harbor. Why would you want to?
Exactly.
That's more the recreation attraction place. I don't care unless they have one.
We're good to go when you are, Mr. Roskovich.
Okay, thank you. We're going to call the regular council meeting for the city of Ashtabula to order. Today is Monday, August 5th, 2024. If at this time you would please stand for the prayer and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions and all present here today, and your assistance further us so that every word and work of ours may take its beginning from you, and so begun, may you reach its completion. Amen.
Amen. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Holman?
Present.
Mrs. Mills?
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Here.
Mrs. Foglio?
Here.
Mr. Guerrero?
Here.
Mr. Simeone? Mr. Roskovich?
Here.
Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Ms. Cooper? Mrs. Augustin? Ms. Bell?
Thank you. May I have a motion to excuse Mr. Simeone from tonight's meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. DiGiacomo, second by Ms. Holman. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? He will be excused from tonight's meeting by a 6-0 vote, and we still have enough members for our sunshine law certification, and our quorum has been established. In place of Ms. Cooper, our city solicitor, we have our assistant, Mrs. Colgan, and we have our assistant finance director, Mrs. Sheldon, with us this evening for a while. There's no call for an executive session, I believe. So we will continue on with the meeting by approving of our minutes.
July 15th, 2024, regular council meeting was called to order at 7:00 p.m. by Council President Roskovich. Ward 1 Councilor Kim Foglio offered the opening prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, and Mrs. Giacomo. Absent was Ms. Holman. Officers present were the City Manager Timonier, Finance Director Augustin, and Clerk of Council Bell.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes in their entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. DiGiacomo, second by Mrs. Mills. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the minutes by a 6-0 vote.
July 31st, 2024, work session was called to order at 5:30 p.m. by Council President Roskovich. Present were Mr. Roskovich, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, and Ms. Holman. Absent were Mr. Simeone and Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present, Mr. Timonier, Ms. Cooper, and Ms. Bell.
May I have a motion to waive the reading of these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Holman and a second by Mr. Guerrero. These minutes were from the work session we had at the library concerning the improvements to the wastewater treatment plant. And from what I understand, that presentation is online, or it will be online, or?
Mr.
Go ahead,
President, so I believe at that meeting, we decided that we would do a second presentation at the Public Works meeting, which we will record, and then it'll be available for viewing whenever.
Okay. So in that meeting, Mrs. Mills, when is that meeting, do we?
I think it's Tuesday, August 27th at 8:30 a.m. right here.
Okay. So on Tuesday, August 27th, 8:30, that Public Works meeting, the presentation that was given will be replayed, and then you will be able to watch it then, or you'll be able to watch it online afterwards. But it's about the improvements that will be taking place at the wastewater treatment plant, and then subsequently the rate increases that would follow, all the construction and things that will be following as a result of that. Anybody else have anything to say about that meeting? All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will approve those minutes by a 6-0 vote.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I do have a question. There was a discussion around us potentially putting a notice in the bills that the city would be increasing the rates. I know that there was some follow-up. Thank you, Ms. Sheldon, for the information that you agreed to get us. Where does that go from here?
I don't, is that something that council needs to vote on? Because I know periodically there are announcements made on our utility bills and our sewer bills and so forth, and those traditionally don't come from council. Would something like that have to come from council?
Mr. President, I don't think it has to come from council.
Okay.
And I'm sure that before the rate increases actually start, there will be some notice on the bill that there's rate increases are pending.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Holman? Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, so that'll come from their office, and that's something they will do. Okay, City Council, are there any formal requests from City Council? Any city councilors? Maybe this time, Mrs. DiGiacomo, do you have a request you want to make at this time?
I do. Tim Phelps, he lives on Amelia Avenue. You often can see him walking around the city, picking up litter, and I would like us to have a resolution to acknowledge his work in keeping the place picked up.
Okay, so a resolution of appreciation for Mr. Phelps.
Yes, please.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Mrs. DiGiacomo and then Mr. Guerrero seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so we will compile a resolution by a 5-1 vote. Thank you. Anything else?
Mr. President?
Yes.
I would like to ask for a resolution for Lakeway Restaurant. Lakeway you recently closed a couple weeks ago, after
Mr.
70
President?
years. Yes.
Madam Counselor, do you mind if we stick with that last issue? Because I do have a
I'm
comment.
sorry. I'm sorry.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead. Go
That's
ahead.
all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Counselor?
Yes.
Ms. DiGiacomo, what was the thinking behind a resolution versus another form of acknowledgement, a letter of thank you, appreciation, or some other?
Past practice. This has been our past practice.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
go ahead.
Okay. I
Thank
would
you,
like a
Councilor
resolution for, are you okay?
Thank
Brenda?
you, thank you.
I'd like a resolution for Lakeway Restaurant for their over 70 years in business. They recently closed, and they've just been an asset to the community, and I think it would be a nice way to thank them for all their years of business.
Being that's in my ward, I would like to second that.
Okay, so we have a motion from Mrs. Foglio and a second by Mr. Guerrero. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will have that resolution compiled by a 6-0 vote, and then we will invite Mrs. DeGeorge and Mr. and Larry to come to the meeting. That'd be nice. Okay. Anything else from council? We will go on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like an ordinance to repeal payroll ordinance 2024-03 in its entirety and replace it with a new payroll ordinance to provide compensation for employees of the city of Ashtabula.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Mr. Roskovich. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I would like an ordinance to execute change order number 2 with Koski Construction here in Ashtabula for the purpose of providing additional work as well as non-performance items in an amount of $8,229.02 deduction for a new contract total of $128,504.24. Funding for this expense will be taken from PI Fund 412.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio,
Second.
second by Mr. Guerrero. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I would like an ordinance to execute change order number 1 with Roniak Paving of Burton, Ohio, for the purpose of providing additional work in the amount not to exceed $113,975.40 for a new contract total of $1,182,115.40. Funding for this expense will be taken from the Paving Fund 212.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Thank you. Mrs. Foglio moves. Mrs.
Second.
Mills, I'm sorry.
Sorry, second.
Mrs. Mills, seconds. Is there any discussion? Mr. Timmer, I know every year we usually like spend half and, then we carry, are we still having some to carry over to next year?
Mr. President, yes. We are using funds, we're finishing out our ARPA funds.
Okay.
And we're also using some funds from the gas tax and license tax for
Okay,
this year's
so
paving.
we'll still have money to carry over for our paving levy. Okay.
That's correct.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I would like an ordinance to enter into agreement with Schultz Fluid Handling of Cleveland, Ohio, for the purpose of providing replacement parts for the Moino feed pump and various components for the water pollution control centrifuge in the amount not to exceed $17,500. Funding for this expense will be taken from Fund 504.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Ms. Holman moves. Mr. Roskovich will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I would like an ordinance to execute change order number 1 with J. Severino Construction here in Ashtabula for the purpose of relocating the proposed court venue away from the existing parking lot to avoid a conflict with the storm sewers and to save on some parking in the amount not to exceed $33,745.75. Funding for this expense will be taken from 233.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Mrs. Mills. Any discussion? I did think I read that this would be done within a month.
That's correct. Because of the grant funding that we received, it needs to be done by August 30th.
Okay,
So it'll be
and I
done
see
this month.
today that if you go by there, they're already moving dirt
Yep.
and planning for the courts. One basketball court and one tennis court.
That's correct, yeah, we're relocating the one tennis court from the Harbor Top Key Library area, and those will become 2 permanent pickleball courts, so there'll be 4 total pickleball courts at the Harbor Top Key Library, and then the 1 tennis court at Smithfield.
Okay, good. And like you said, by August, so that's good. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it by a 6-0 vote to our agenda.
Next, I would like an ordinance to enter into agreement with Brown Sprinkler Service here in Dorset, Ohio, for the purpose of providing labor and materials to upgrade 4 backflow devices in various city buildings to meet the aqua water standards, in the amount not to exceed $10,831. Funding for this expense will be taken from PI Fund 412.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Ms. Holman. Is there any discussion?
Is that one in front of us? Am I looking at it and not seeing it?
That won't be on the agenda, that's just a request tonight, so we'll have the
Okay.
ordinance at the next meeting.
Okay.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add that to our agenda by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I would appreciate a voice vote to appoint Ms. Jill Valenick to the Board of Health effective immediately with a term to expire on May 1st, 2029.
All in favor of appointing Mrs. Jill Valenick to the Board of Health?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add Mrs. Valenick to the Board of Health by a 6-0 vote. And that's an excellent addition, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. This one is also not on your agenda. It'll be on the agenda for the next meeting, like an ordinance to dispose of various computer office equipment that has been deemed obsolete.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Second.
Ms. Foglio moves and Mrs. Mills seconds. Is that the whole list? That's what this list is?
That's correct, Mr. President.
A cash register,
So I have a question.
typewriters?
Define dispose of, like we just throw everything away?
No, so hard drives or anything that stores data we have to keep for, per our records disposal, or records retention policy. But the towers, anything that doesn't have data is either, if another department can use it, that's usually the case, or there are electronic, I should say scrappers for lack of a better term, but
Laptops,
places that
monitors.
take the electronics and then are able to take them all apart and use them for different projects.
So what is the normal shelf life of a,
I mean, we've had some computers that have been around for long time, and I mean, typically it's 3 to 4 years for a computer.
Okay, it's quite a big list.
Well, and this goes back with the move too. So
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of stuff that we
You know,
either didn't need or finally have the opportunity to dispose of.
Any of those typewriters work, I'd be interested in one. Seriously.
I remember when I was in graduate school in 1980, or no, 1990, I remember the professor saying, someday kids won't even have textbooks. Their whole thing will be on a computer. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
That's good.
So it shows you how. I don't know if I passed that class. I must not.
Ms.
I must
Beebe
not
always
have.
told me I won't have a calculator with me at all times, so.
We didn't even have calculators at my time.
Yeah, so, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add that to our agenda by a 6-0 vote.
Just, I wanted to just touch briefly on not this past weekend, but wasn't this past weekend, the weekend prior, the Wine and Walleye Festival. I want to just send a thank you to all the volunteers that helped us out. A lot of the city staff and public works and sanitation, police department, fire department, were very involved in helping us get ready for the festival, and of course, the night of, or the nights of the festival, either cooking the fish with the FOP or the fire department, monitoring all the stuff that happened at the firework display. Two people that I have to send a huge thank you out to, because without these two people, the festival just doesn't happen. And that's Jennifer Posiak from Rennick Meat Market down on Bridge Street, and Mary Church here in our offices in Planning Community Development. These two ladies worked their butts off for an entire year, doing just about everything for this festival, coordinating everything, getting everything lined up, giving me my marching orders for the weekend, making sure that we have everything ready to go. And just another phenomenal event. We do think attendance was down a little bit this year. It was extremely hot. There were also some big events that were going on Sunday that just kind of popped up out of the blue. But Another great event, another great showcase. If you saw any of the articles that were in the papers, a lot of people interviewed from way out of town. I mean, we're not talking like just, Erie or, Youngstown. I mean, there were some Florida, there were some just people from everywhere. So it's really becoming a very well-known festival. And hopefully some of you got to tour the new hotel as well, as they were open for some tours during the day, and people I know were popping in all day. So always look forward to that festival. It was a great weekend. Couldn't have asked for better weather, in my opinion. And just wanted to say thank you to those folks that really are the reason that festival happened this year.
Mr. President. Mr. Timonero, I'd like to thank you. I know you were there, I can't even, from Wednesday, I know some of us worked the wine tent on Saturday, you were there all day. I came back on Sunday, you were still there all day. And I know you were there, so that's like a horrendous weekend for you. And, nobody ever thanks you, and you're always there. So I don't think that festival would go forth without your help. So thank you for being there, because that's your whole weekend away from your family, and you don't get paid extra for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Manager, and
yes.
the fireworks were fantastic.
Had a couple little glitches, but they were, solicitor's office is handling those now. But
You
no,
could
it was,
you could hear when we were like, "Well, where is the grand finale?" And then when it came, did you hear all the screaming? It was great.
Everybody was leaving, and I'm like, no, don't leave, it's not over.
It's not over yet.
no, it was another, that's probably, I would put those fireworks against any fireworks in Northeast Ohio, especially with that setting over the river there with the lift bridge and everything. And again, another, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, Goodwill was a huge sponsor this year. It was their 125th anniversary. That is a resolution that council should also consider, is a resolution for Goodwill. But they had a nice event on Friday night up in the wine area. But they were a big contributor to the festival financially. So we do want to thank Goodwill as well.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just want to communicate something that someone asked me to pass on. They did notice that there was a slight reduction in the attendance or participation at the Wine Walleye Festival, but their ask was, is it possible to pull together the organizations who want to plan something over the summer and just space it out a little bit so that the attendance can go up, because folks felt splintered, like they had to choose one or the other, but they really wanted to attend all of them, but just couldn't because so many events were on that one day. Yeah, that's all they're asking, to be communicated.
I guess I'm not sure what other events you're talking about.
This message was communicated to me. They said there were other events on the same day, and that potentially pulled away from the higher levels of participation at the Wine and Walleye. So to ask if our events or festivals were just spaced out so that we can get higher attendance.
Ours has always traditionally been on the fourth weekend of July for ever and ever. The two events that I knew of, that actually I didn't know of until the weekend of, I think it was Leanne Rhymes, who had a huge concert in Menor at the, where they do Menor Rocks. It was a free concert on Sunday, so from what I understand, it started at 7, but people started lining up at like noon. Nobody knew anything about that, and then there was another country artist that was at Geneva on the Lake. We believe those two things pulled attendance away, but there again, it was a hot weekend. We know the Mount Carmel Festival didn't have very well attendance this year. It could just be a timing thing, just of this year. People kind of took some time off. But those that were there spent some money, and we usually don't know the actual data unless we request the AI data on those events of how many people, and that might be something that we're going to do for that festival to compare it to last year.
Okay. Well, folks would just like to participate and support all of the festivals that we provide during the summer.
I'm sorry, but I believe that's the only festival in Ashtabula County that weekend. So I don't think there's anything else going on. So,
I've done my job.
thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can I make a motion that we honor Goodwill for 125 years? That we present a resolution?
Can we do that under new business?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have anything for the manager?
I do, Mr. President. Taking the First Amendment into consideration, these offensive political signs,
Yeah.
I'm getting a couple complaints. I mean, people have kids. I mean, is there anything that can be done about, I mean, is that just that's your God-given right to?
Mr. Guerrero, could you say that a little louder, please?
I'm protesting the F word being used in political signs. My ward, we have kids.
We all do.
And, I don't even think they need to be exposed to that. I mean, there's nothing we can do about that?
No, sir, I guess I'll take that from the manager. No, unfortunately, there's not. Political speech is especially protected free speech, and as offensive as you find it and as offensive as I find it, unfortunately, it's their right, and it speaks more to them than it does anything else, sadly. Trust me, there's somebody running around town for the past year who has something written on the back of his car about me in a word that I would just as soon not be out in public, but there's nothing I can do about it.
I didn't know that. I never thought that.
Mr. Guerrero, I talked to Mr. Manager last week, and Ms. Cooper, I had the same complaint. I drove by and I saw the flag. I had one on my street too. They were going to try to approach the neighbor to see if they would understand that, children, they can read it, blah, blah, blah. That was successful in my case, so I was going to reach out to them to see if it was somebody that, maybe you could just put your sign up who you're supporting or whatever, but without that. So I don't know if that's a conversation that they could have with that person.
Who's they? I mean, is that like something that I need to do? I mean, do I even have that authority to go to somebody's house?
The person that it's bothering, this lady, it was her grandchildren, so I said, is your neighbor approachable? Of course, I would never want somebody to go into a hostile situation. She knows them, and I said, well, if you feel that you could have a calm conversation, that might be a start, because I know it's, unfortunately, they're
Well,
right.
I would think if it's somebody you know or you have known, and I would hesitate as a counselor to go someone, because then somebody's going to think, that you're going there in your role as a city councilor as opposed to, like a neighbor or something. So it could be a iffy situation, but whatever but they're all over. I know my granddaughter has one on her street, so they're just everywhere. Okay. Anything else?
Mr. President, I do, because I only got halfway through my list at pre-council.
I'm sure.
Refrigerator disposal, is that something that can be dropped off at the transfer station?
Yes, if they have the refrigerant removed. That has to be removed by a licensed professional and tagged as such, and then it can be dropped off for the normal fees. Typically, there's some of those organizations that do remove the gases that are in there, and then they'll dispose of it as well.
So I was asked, because the person did not think that it could go to the transfer station, where can you dispose of a refrigerator in Ashtabula then?
You have to have the refrigerant removed before you can dispose of it.
And that has to be done professionally.
Correct.
So I couldn't just go in there and, no, okay.
It has to have a tag on it that we can look at that says it has been removed. Yep.
Okay. Another question was the fence along Main Avenue on the Gulf side. I guess is that our fence?
Whereabouts?
The metal across from Agape?
I believe that's the Ashtabula Township Park Commission. I believe. Right next to Sardi's? Or the
I don't,
former
I
Sardi's?
just got the message after I got here. I don't know.
What's the issue with the fence?
That there's gaps in it and it's being torn down.
I will take a ride by and look. I haven't been that
Okay.
way, so.
Okay, and then wait, I gotta open up my phone again. And I think I wrote you a email about this, but it was on a busy weekend. On Main Avenue, the blue lines, is that Aqua? Are they gonna be, that's on the west side of Main by Richmond's. Is there gonna be cuts in our new road? Are there gonna be cuts in our new road?
Those, if it's down by Richmond, if you recall, the gas company did some work down there. So they may have just been marking out, for like the oops tickets, when that work was done. I don't believe there's any work scheduled to be done in that area. I think they did all that prior to the paving, but I will check.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Manager, I was up at Capitina's and they were laying some kind of concrete, like right in there, the front of Capitina's Floral. That could be it. That was before the feast, so maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So that could be
They
it.
might
Yeah.
have marked those out before that, yep. Okay.
So blue doesn't mean aqua. I just thought blue meant aqua.
Not necessarily. Sometimes it just depends on what the company has in their, the marking company. Yeah. Typically, they try to use that and then yellow for gas and orange for fiber optic. But I'd have to go out there and look.
Okay. I think that was all on I think that was everything on my list.
You said that was by Richmond's?
Yeah, on the west
side?
side of the street.
Okay.
Well, Richmond's in Beyond.
Okay.
And I would just add, Mr. Timoney, if we could talk to our friends at the railroad on Depot Street,
We've contacted them.
okay. Yeah, 'cause
Every
it-
year I have to contact them at least 2 or 3 times to get that mowed.
Yeah, that's horrible over there. And then, and I know the new bus garage, they're at a lot of weeds, but I'm sure they're gonna get that ready for Wednesday. And I think they're having their open house Wednesday.
I think the property you're talking about I don't think that's theirs. There are still some areas around there that they don't own.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just a lot of weeds. All right, thank you. Anything else for the manager?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I just had a couple things. Had a couple calls on status, the old municipal building on Main. Any,
Yeah, so we did, if you remember, we did the RFP, RFQ. We received 2 back. One of them was promising until we met with them and they wanted us to do all the renovation and then just lease the building to them, which was not anything close to what we had in the RFQ. The other one was very simplistic and we can't prove that they have the financial backing to do the project. So those 2 are still kind of hanging out there. We've had some conversations with others that have been interested, but at this point, it doesn't look like there are any takers or any that I would recommend giving the building or working out a deal, developer's deal with the building. And we are still waiting on word with the Ashtabula County Land Reutilization Corporation, the land bank, as to whether or not the latest grant is going to be funded. And in that funding was monies to do demolition on that building. So either way we go, I hope to have that building taken care of this year.
okay.
Yeah.
And I did have, I know school will be going back in session, probably like in a couple weeks. Quite a few are staggered. So crosswalks, painting,
We've been doing a lot of that. We are not doing those on the state routes that have been done. That'll be up to ODOT to finish those.
okay. And then the other one was just, I had one person last week was asking me about, and I have not been down there to see anything with the playground at Walnut Beach.
We just got all of the purchase orders through the Ashtabula County DD. They have issued all the purchase orders, and I believe the order went in on Friday. So yeah, it has to be done by December 31st. We're really cutting it close.
So this is the one where they actually have somebody that designs it, or they?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Cooper, do you have anything for us this evening?
The only thing I would have for council is to reiterate what Catherine said. We spent 3 days down at the Ohio Municipal Attorneys Association seminar. The great thing about that seminar is it's attorneys from small cities, big cities, so you hear all kinds of new and great ideas in what they're doing in terms of developing their city or helping develop their city ideas that they're bringing to developers. So we're kind of just processing all of those, trying to figure out what might help with us. There were a couple of training opportunities. One that I emailed the chief about that's free with the Columbus Police Department. So I'm sitting there listening to these guys talk, and I emailed the chief about it right away. Catherine was emailing Mary Church all through the things, so we appreciate the opportunity to go. There'll be some things that they talked about how their city council handles different things, and some ideas that council might want to take into consideration that I'll bring to the next pre-council meeting.
Okay, very good, thank you. Mrs. Sheldon, do you have anything for us this evening?
Mr. President, on behalf of the Finance Director, I'm requesting an ordinance to repeal payroll ordinance 2023-174, which is for the Ashtabula Municipal Court, and requesting a new payroll ordinance. And this is to modify the range of pay for a part-time deputy clerk from $16 an hour to $15.50 to $16 an hour.
Mr. President, I move on the Finance Director's recommendation. Excuse me.
There's two ordinances, right? One to repeal and one to replace?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
So, are you gonna move on the repeal?
Yes,
Okay.
repeal.
Ms. Foglio moves to on the repeal.
Second.
Ms. Holman will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Is this something I have to abstain from? Yeah, I'm abstaining.
We will add that to our agenda by a 5-0 vote. And then I will move on the replacement, I guess. I will move to replace.
Second.
Ms. Foglio will second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Mr. President, I do have a question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, so the change from a flat rate to a range, could you just share some of the thinking behind that? Was it varied for experience, or what was it that caused the flat rate to shift to a range of?
So, Ms. Holman, I just received a journal entry from the judge that they're hiring a deputy clerk at a rate of pay specified by the judge. So right now, the court has an existing part-time deputy clerk that makes $16 an hour, and they're hiring a new part-time deputy clerk at $15.50 an hour. Could be experience related, but I don't have an answer to your question.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 5-0 vote. Okay. Anything else, Mrs. Sheldon?
No, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Ms. Bell?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. We will now move on to our committee reports. Safety Forces I reported, I think, that on our last meeting. Our next meeting will be next Monday, and we have moved our meetings up till 8:30. From 8:45, they will now take place at 8:30. The Safety Forces. I do want to just say, with regards to the Safety Forces, my granddaughter attended Safety Town at the primary campus, and what an excellent experience that was. The city schools were very nice about, sharing everything there, but the policemen and the firemen just did a fantastic job. It was just great. And I'm so appreciative to them for doing all that. And all the kids that were there really seemed to enjoy it. It was a good thing. So thank you for the police department and the fire department for Safety Town. Community development and economic development.
Yes, I have a report. So we had Tia Woodward, plus others from the YMCA, and they expressed the importance of beach safety. The conversation began due to the recent drowning in Conneaut, at Conneaut Beach. According to the Ashtabula County Tourism Board, 16 million people visited the county in 2022. The primary reasons for the visits were to tour our beaches. Ms. Woodard suggested a proactive approach to beach safety in addition to having lifeguards on the beach. Her suggestions included life rings, signage about rip currents, and lifeguard loaning stations. The components that would include the Coast Guard approved flotations, on-site trainings, and equipment for self-rescue. Drownings happen quickly. With preparation, donations, and grants may be able to cover the cost of safety measures. Mounting a life ring to an existing pole could cost around $100. The state of Indiana recently implemented mandatory life ring placements at their beaches. Many drownings include parents and the person who attempted to rescue the person in distress. Ms. Woodard stated a life ring implementation begins at Walnut Beach. She will donate the first life ring, which she did. She donated it. She suggested several organizations that offer life ring grants. Ms. Woodard also suggested 3 life ring stations at Walnut Beach. The city manager stated Ashtabula is the only beach in the county that has lifeguards. The city manager stated there are funds available for life rings and they will be installed. Walnut Beach also has rip current signage. Preparations for the this is old news now. Wine and Walleye Festival are in place. The River Bend Hotel recently received their certificate of occupancy. The deadline for updates to the Smithfield is August 30th. Walnut Beach will have only handicap accessibility playground in the county. William Todd from East 45th Street, who is a master gardener, recommends oak trees to replace any trees that are torn down in our parks. He also suggests a tree inventory of trees in the city parks. Our next meeting is August 22nd at 5:30 p.m.
Mr. President, can I ask Mrs. DiGiacomo a question?
Yeah.
Did you say 16 million people? Did I hear that wrong?
I don't know.
Because that, I mean, not to belittle aqua safety, but, you know, the population of Ohio is like 12 million people, and I think that number is a little skewed.
Mr.
I
President.
did say 16 million people.
Mr. President, so we have been researching some AI companies to possibly do business with, and one of the things that they like to do is we tell them an area and they'll tell us some data from that area. We did ask for some data about Walnut Beach. We were told there were 113,000 visitors to Walnut Beach within a 12-month period. Now, that also includes the eclipse, so that's part of that number. But there was 113,000 people, 59,000 of them were unique visitors. So in other words, 59,000 people went 113,000 times to our beach.
I'm not following the math there. You're saying,
So 59,000 unique people.
right,
So of those 59,000, most of them went more than once. And so for a total visits of 113,000 visits to the beach.
well, that's a far cry from 16
Well, that's just our
million.
beach. That's not including Geneva on the Lake, Conneaut, Saybrook, Ashtabula Township, And then there's also beaches.
I mean, I'm thinking Atlantic City doesn't get 16.
16 million seems like a lot. But we do have a lot of tourists that come to the area.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that, I was hearing that right, because it didn't sound very accurate.
Well, they said they got that information from the Ashtabula Tourism Board, so that's the data that they provided at the meeting.
Oh, and I'm sure that it was, but and I'm all for, people swimming safe too, but 16 million, I mean, that's,
Sounds like a lot.
I think that's a whole county too. So considering all the different
It does say the county.
festivals and beaches.
Okay, finance and personnel?
Yes, our next meeting will be Friday, August 16th, I believe, at 8:30,
Very good.
right here.
Okay. Public Works?
Yes, I have a report. We had our meeting on Tuesday, July 23rd at 8:30 a.m. Here. The city manager provided his report about the paving project. Then it was an intermediate phase. The milling is complete. Working on curb ramps, catch basin adjustments, manhole repairs. Lake Avenue is being paved. The ODOT project is ongoing. And the city has received the release of funds for Ferry Drive. So at this meeting, it said the plans will go out to bid this week. So do we have
They're
a?
on the street. They're out to bid right now.
Okay, all right. So that's been a couple years ongoing, right, for this project?
We were awarded those funds, I believe, in 2019. We just got the release of funds this year.
So that'll be really nice. That is pretty bumpy through there. Water pollution control report. Craig Pierce provided the report. A quarterly toxicity testing is conducted. The next testing is the week of August 12th to 16th. The current bowl that they have is old. A replacement may be needed. Approximate cost is $80,000. H&H Enterprises will be on site to perform geospatial mapping of the outfall location on July 23rd. A gyroscope will be attached to our sewer camera and driven through the pipe to obtain the necessary data. It's provided to GPD to determine the exact location for the connecting point of the new outfall. The facility received the rebuilt blower from National Pump for the East Heat Exchanger. And the Superior Avenue collection system is completed. A water service line went through the storm sewer. Those repairs will be paid for by Aqua. They did the 7-day low mercury level testing for dental facilities, and that was July 15th to the 21st. And that's required by the EPA. The Ohio Avenue pump station is ongoing. Gravity sewer, pump station, and a force main sewer have been installed. The contractor is currently working on electric and pump station component installation. Is that going well?
I think the only thing we have left is to have the illuminating company hook up the electric there.
Okay,
I think everything else is done.
okay, that was quick. Ohio EPA issued fines and orders. The EPA also wants to eliminate all the SSOs, the sanitary sewer overflows. The Public Works Department currently has 5. And we had the work session that was held July 31st at 5:30 at the Ashtabula Library, and GPD Group gave a good presentation. The purpose of the work session was to discuss the improvements and rate increase recommendations for the wastewater treatment facility and collection system. GPD Group is also going to be at our next meeting, which will be August 27th at 8:30 here, and we're going to record that, and people can go back, and it gives an in-depth synopsis of everything in, for me, under really good, understandable terms. And a lot of this is required by the EPA. It's not that the city of Ashtabula wants to, do all these things and spend money, but this is to make things so that they're safe and that they're required. A lot of what we have is old, and the guys down there have worked wonders, but right now it's just, things are old and they're costly to repair, and they're not meeting the standards. Public Works report, city manager provided that. The jet vac is still out for repair. That was the last report. Is it still out for repair? Oh. So if we need, we're still sort of borrowing from other municipalities. Okay. We were preparing for wine and walleye. We had a guest. Assistant Solicitor Colgan stated the city is working on updating ordinances. On June 11th, the Ohio EPA conducted an industrial pre-treatment audit and inspection of the city's wastewater treatment plant. Discrepancy was found in our ordinances regarding wastewater pre-treatment enforcement. If someone violates the wastewater pre-treatment enforcement, the superintendent is not authorized to issue an emergency order. Examples of violations are putting dangerous metals into our lake. The solicitor's office researched examples from other municipalities explaining how they handle violations and also appeals. The process of wastewater pretreatment enforcement needs to be more enforceable process. So their office and the Public Works Committee are researching viable solutions. So, and I'd like to thank, their office. She's doing a great job. There's a lot of stuff that she's been going through, bringing great things to the table so that the things that we're getting credit for the good things that we're doing, that it's all correct. So I guess more to come on that. We're trying to make sure that we have everything on the books correct. So thank your office for that. So our next meeting is August 27th, and like I said, we'll have GPD group. If you can't make it at 8:30 in the morning, it'll all be recorded. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mills. August 27th, right? And, okay, very good. Safety Forces, like I said, next week. Planning Commission and Historic Preservation Commission, they're meeting next week on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't have their agendas yet, so I'm not sure what's on there, though. But I will give you an update on the 19th. And then we will go on. Anybody, council, have anything else? We will go on to the presentation of our legislation. If you want to comment on any of these items only, you may do so at this time. Repealing and replacing our payroll ordinance, change order for our parking lot, and for our citywide paving, a repeal in place of the court payroll ordinance, a fluid handling contract for the city manager regarding the wastewater treatment plant, and then changes to the Smithfield tennis courts and basketball courts. If anyone would like to talk about any of those items, seeing no one, Ms. Bell, will you read us tonight's legislation?
Ordinance number 2024-90, an ordinance repealing in its entirety payroll ordinance number 2024-03 for the purpose of providing compensation for employees of the city of Ashtabula. Ordinance number 2024-91, an ordinance authorizing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the city of Ashtabula and the Ashtabula City Health District. Ordinance number 2024-92, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into change order number 2 with Koski Construction Company for the parking lot paving project at the Health and Fire Department as well as City Hall. Ordinance number 2024-93, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into change order number 1 with Roniak Paving LLC for the 2024 city paving program. Ordinance number 2024-94, an ordinance repealing in its entirety payroll ordinance number 2023-174 for the purpose of providing compensation, salaries, and wages to employees of the Ashtabula City Municipal Court and probation divisions. Ordinance number 2024-95, an ordinance authorizing compensation salaries and wages to employees of Ashtabula City Municipal Court and probation divisions. Ordinance number 2024-96, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Schultz Fluid Handling for the purpose of providing replacement Monio feed pump and various components for the centrifuge at the wastewater treatment plant. Ordinance number 2024-97, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into change order number 1 with J. Severino Construction Company for improvements at Smith Field.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Is it council's desire to handle these items in consent agenda format?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Ms. Holman. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will do so by a 6-0 vote. I would entertain a motion to waive the reading of this legislation in its entirety.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Mrs. Mills. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading by a 6-0 vote. I will entertain a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings.
So moved.
Ms. Holman moves.
Second.
Mrs. Mills seconds. Any discussion? Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll on waiving 2 readings?
Mrs. DeGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone? Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
We will waive 2 readings by a 6-0 vote. Will you now call the roll on the adoption of the legislation?
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone? Mr. Roskovich?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DeGiacomo?
Yes.
I'm sorry, and I hate to interrupt, but Mrs. DeGiacomo, if you're
Oh, that-
recusing,
That's right. I forgot.
yes,
My
ma'am.
bad.
So you can't vote on any of it.
She can't vote on the adoption, right?
Well, she technically probably shouldn't have voted on the other, but
On the waiving of the readings?
yes, sir, but
That's okay?
would have passed it.
Yeah, it would have passed. Okay. So on this, these items of legislation have passed by a 5-0 vote. Right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. Well, we got you. All right, that concludes the legislative part of our agenda. All right. Is there any unfinished business before council? Is there any new business that council would like to bring forward?
Yes. I would like to request a resolution to honor Goodwill for 125 years of doing business in our county.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. DeGiacomo and a second by Ms. Holman. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I did attend that 125-year celebration, and it was amazing. You don't realize all the things that they do. You just think that it's a storefront, but helping people to get employed, and we're just very lucky we have them. And I think, I can't remember if it's, our, Mr. Manager, is the 125 years, is our Goodwill one of the longest
believe so.
standing that they had said that?
Very good.
Sounds very nice.
Anything else? I bought a hat from Goodwill in 8th grade and I still have it. Still wear it every winter. Nothing. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I'll stop heading all my antidotes. I'll stop. Okay. Anybody else for new business? Does anyone have anything for tell us something we don't know?
I do.
Go right ahead.
So I joined the hospital board advocacy board, and it was quite interesting in their presentation. The one thing that they did this past summer was called Nurses Camp. And what this does is it allows juniors and seniors in high school to kind of have a week of camp where they could see what does that look like to become a nurse. So this was their maiden voyage year. Next year, they're hoping to run many camps throughout the summer. And I just thought it was a great idea. If you're a junior or a senior in high school, maybe you've thought about being a nurse, or maybe you've never even thought about it, but wonder what would that look like? What would that feel like? And I think it's a great program that they put on. And number 2, I just have to get my handy-dandy phone. Household hazardous waste recycling is going to be Saturday, September 28th, from 9 to 1 at the Ashtabula County Technical Career Campus. So if you have paints or different items that have been sitting in your basement, now is the opportunity to get rid of them.
What day was that?
The September 28th,
Oh, okay.
from 9 to 2.
All right, thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I just want to point out that on last Saturday, Sons of Italy of America sponsored their annual Bocce Fest, which was very successful, and thousands of dollars of scholarships were awarded on that day. I just want to shout out to President Napolitan and the Bocce Committee for hosting such a wonderful event.
Very good, thank you. That brings people from a lot of places too to town.
Correct.
Very good. Anybody else have anything for tell us something we don't know?
Mr. President?
Yes.
The GEO Ministries, the GEO CDC, I worked the back-to-school event this past Saturday. It was very successful. So we served over 300 families. So the giveaway was shoes, backpacks that were stuffed with supplies, Bomba socks, Bomba underwear. I didn't even know Bomba made underwear, but they got Bomba underwear, lunch, face painting. So anybody who missed that event, we still have a lot of stuff there that to give away. So tomorrow, August 6th, if you go to the GEO from 11 to 1, you have to have the student there, but you can, get your shoes, your stuffed backpack, and all that stuff. So I talked with Francis again today to confirm those times. So it's tomorrow from 11 to 1 at the GEO. And tomorrow also, August 6th at 5 o'clock, is the Recovery Court graduation, and this is going to be at the library at 5 o'clock. I think before that it used to be at Lakeside.
It has been.
Yeah, so it's going to be at the library. And Wednesday is the bus garage for the city schools. It's now on station. The ribbon cutting's at 10, and then they have open house, tours, and refreshments from 10:30 till noon. So anybody who would like to see that, I think it houses 26 buses, has heated floors, has a conference room. It's state-of-the-art, nothing like that around. So anybody in the public can go on Wednesday. Also, ADDA has Meet Me on Main on Saturday, the 17th, from 12 to 5, and the theme is the Dog Days of Summer, with activities, music, vendors, food, and a surprise appearance from a pretty famous pup.
A pretty famous what?
Pup.
Pup.
Pup, dog. I don't know.
Like Lassie?
I don't know. I don't know. Could be like Paw Patrol. Could be like, I don't know.
I get it.
Lassie's pretty.
It has to be Paw
Lassie's
Patrol.
pretty stuffed by now, I imagine.
So there's a lot of, end of summer, a lot of things going on, and back to school.
Very good. Thank you, Mrs. Mills. And I will just say, to echo what Mr. Timonier said, that wine and walleye is quite the thing. You do meet people from all over, and that's what's so neat about it. And the hotel has opened, and I sort of notice, because I drive, seems to be people walking around. I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination. The Bridge Street's usually busy anyway, but it seems to me to be, a little bit maybe more crowded lately. People. And you only notice them because they're looking at things and they're walking and slowly and they're pointing out things, so that's good. That's exciting.
Using the crosswalks that aren't there yet.
Yeah, good. Okay, anybody else? At this time, we would like to hear from the public. We appreciate you waiting and being so patient with us. But if you would just approach the podium and share with us your name and your street or your city, and we'll be happy to hear from you.
I'm Dennis DeGennaro, and I live at 1716 West 5th Street in the harbor. Couple of things. One, my councilman's last name is pronounced Guerrero, not Guerrero. Guerrero.
Thank you, Mr. DeGennaro.
And then, if you travel on Columbus Avenue North till you get to East 6th Street, then you turn right onto East 6th Street. As soon as you do that, you go over a manhole cover that is well below the level of the rest of the street, and it's like going over a pothole. And then you go about another 75 feet, and you have another manhole cover the same way, well below the level of the city of the rest of the street, not quite as bad as the first one. Then you go another 75 feet, and the same thing happens, but not quite as bad as the first and the second one. Now, East 6th Street was just paved. That shouldn't be that way. I mean, I purposely went out of my way and drove that way before I came to the meeting tonight to make sure that I wasn't missing something. But now, I don't know if those pavers are the same people that are paving Route 11. But whoever it is, the people responsible for paving or setting the manhole covers, that shouldn't be that way. That should be corrected.
Mr. DeGennaro, I noticed, because I mentioned to Mr. Timonir, on 9th Street, when you turn from 9th Street onto Lake Avenue, same situation. And Mr. Timonir has shared with us that those are all to be corrected as part of I guess that's part of the paving system.
So, Mr. President, yes, Mr. DeGennaro, the project isn't complete. The way that the contractor does this, there's a new tool that all these contractors like to use. The generic term of it is Mr. Manhole. It's a device that goes over those manholes, cuts it out, and then brings it up to the right level, and then re-puts it back in there. They do that after the final course is down so that they can make sure that it's level with the ground. So that ODOT project is not done yet, and they do have a little bit more time to complete that, and all those manholes will be adjusted. Yeah. Yes.
One other thing, and I don't think Route 20 coming from the east before you go across the bridge, those roads weren't paved recently, were they?
If you're talking about the east side heading west,
East side heading west.
yeah,
like
that's
coming in-
Ashtabula Township, and that hasn't been done
Yeah,
recently.
that's
no.
right, that's
Yep.
right. All right, thank you, it was good to know that, thank you.
Can you spell your last name?
DeGennaro, capital, who said that?
Me.
Capital D-E, capital G-E-N-N-A-R-O. And there's no space between the first E and the G. And it's DeGennaro, not DeGenario.
Thank you, Mr. DeGennaro. Yeah, but that's true. Anybody else in the audience who would like to address council may do so at this time.
Mr. President,
Yes.
so somebody had messaged me, and I don't know if I should say this now or not, or ask about it, but just in light of the comments that were just made, who do we have in the city? Because I know we don't have a city engineer, right?
Yeah, GPD. GPD is our paid engineer.
So that's who checks the roads to make sure everything is like, that we're getting.
For our projects, yes, for like the 2024 paving project, yes, GPD is out there. GPD is at Smithfield when the work goes on there. The State Route 531 and State Route 84 project is ODOT is the engineer for that, and they do all the inspection of the contractor.
Right,
It's an ODOT-let project.
right, right. So do they sign off on a waiver or a paper after they've inspected, after the project's
That
done?
does, and then that's submitted to us to accept the project.
Okay, thank you.
And just so your council is aware, I think I mentioned it before, but we do have some issues with various spots of the paving of the final course, and we're not going to accept the project until some of those areas are corrected.
For the ODOT project?
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's quite a few of those manholes like Denny mentioned.
Yes.
Ninth and Union, I know there's one at Ninth and Union, same thing. But, all right, anything else? Anybody else would like to address council? All right, seeing no one, our next meeting is Monday, August 19th at 6 o'clock. 6:30, and then 7 o'clock. So Monday, August 19th, at 6:30. We will see you then. Have a good rest of the summer, a safe couple of weeks. And those of you going back to school, best of luck. I'm not. So good. We are adjourned.